So thank you for coming to practice some yin with me. We are going to start our practice in a seated position. If you would like to use any props to support your seat, please do so that you can create your most comfortable position. Placing your hand somewhere in your lap. Take some rocks in your pelvis. Eventually arriving and what you feel like is neutral. Create some movements now in your shoulders. Move the head, loosen up through the neck. Before arriving in a still place. Soften your gaze or close your eyes down. Falling into the rhythm of your breath. Welcoming some pranayama or breathing techniques to commence our class. On your inhale, count for 4. Pause at the top, hold for 2. And on your exhale, count down 4. At the bottom, pause for 2. And drawing the breath back in for a count of 4. Starting to box your breath, pause at the top, hold for 2. And as you exhale, send it out for 4. Pausing for 2. And stay with this cycle, counting your breath, creating some retention at the top of the inhale, bottom of the exhale. Continue to listen to your breath. Notice if you can lengthen out your inhale or your exhale, or the space in between your breaths. Releasing any control of your breath after you complete your next exhale. Returning to just conscious breaths. Observing how that breathing exercise landed in your body, mind. Let's blink the eyes open if they closed. Lower your chin down towards your chest. Create some half circles, rolling your ear over the shoulder. And then head over to the other side. Next time your chin comes to the center of your chest, pause. Lift your head up to neutral. And roll over into a tabletop position, please. And we'll start our movement now with some waving cat cows. Create a neutral spine. Lead with your tailbone, drawing it down. Round your spine out, vertebra by vertebra, until your chin comes in towards your chest. Leading with your tailbone again, allow it to lift. Feel the extension come through your spine until the chin lifts. Opportunity to close your eyes here as you create this wave-like motion in the trunk of your body. And the next time your back is arched with both your tail and chin lifted, return to your neutral spine. Walk your hands forward, keeping them shoulder width apart. Melt your chest down, connect your forehead to the mat or possibly a prop. Chest melting down. Allow the hips to slightly go behind the knees, creating some traction through the spine. Come back to your slow, conscious breaths. Scanning over your body, noticing where you can soften in here. Stay with the rhythm of your breath. Allowing your exhale breath to melt the chest down. And coming out, find your way back to a tabletop position. Curl your toes under, lift your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Take your dog for a walk. Pedal your legs out. Bending one knee as you press down through the other heel. And then keep walking your dog, but take your dog forward and into a fold towards the top of your mat. So keep your feet hip width apart. A very generous bend into your knees so that your abdomen's connected to your thighs. Allow your head to curl in, and your arms can either just dangle or hands can find opposite elbows. Shoulders lifting up into the ears, feeling that weight. That weight creating a sense of space here between your vertebrae. Allowing your upper body to dangle, so to speak. Even stretch up the back of the legs. Observing the sensations that are coming up for you here. About 10 more breaths. Release your arms if you have them. Connect the pads of your fingers down and lengthen your spine, doing a half lift. Left foot steps back. Lower your knee down. And pulse here a few times, easing into the opening in the front of your left hip. This is a nice way to warm the muscles, that connective tissue, for when we go to hold this a little bit longer after, just letting the body know that this is okay. Allow the pulsing to diminish. eventually molding in. So we can stay with the hands framing the front foot, or we may climb also hands to the front thigh, lifting the chest. Notice unnecessary tension creeping in, maybe through the face, the shoulders. And this dragon pose can be quite challenging. A lot of tight hip flexors out there, a lot of extra sitting nowadays, people working on computers and at the desk. And we're looking for nothing extreme here. This is a yin practice. So over time, the sensations are increasing, but we want to stay within that manageable range. You know your body best, so listen and move accordingly. Slow your breath, taking 3 more. We'll all meet with the hands framing our front foot and heel toe that right foot over to the left, creating an outward rotation in the hip, setting up for swan. Begin to lower the front of your body down towards your mat, propping on your forearms. You can lower all the way down. Your forearms may even come onto a prop to meet you part way. And we settle in, breathe. Observing what is in this moment. Stay with the flow of your inhale and exhale. Keep dropping into the moment. Observing your physical body and breathing consciously. Slow, precise movements as we make our way out, connecting the hands. Lift your chest. Curl your back toes under. Move your knee forward and press back into your downward facing dog. Take it for a walk again. Just observing right leg to left leg. Keep walking your dog. Let's take it forward all the way to the top. We'll half lift one time and step the right foot back. Lower your knee down, connecting. And let's pulse here. Pulsing starts to diminish. And we settle in. Stay with your hands connected. We're climbing up to your front thigh, lifting your chest. You could also do a little bit of both. Again, we're looking for manageable sensations so we can sustain the posture for a longer duration. Keep your face soft. Breath is full. Keep bringing yourself back into your body, utilizing your breath. And if you're up, take your hands down to frame your front foot. Heel toeing off to the right side. We take an outward rotation in our left hip. Wiggle the right toes back. And folding forward to somewhere. Meet your props, forearms, lower the forehead to connect to the mat. In the yin postures, we are looking for stillness. And what we mean by that is limiting unnecessary fidgeting and adjustments. And that's not to say that you can't adjust your body when needed, but when you do, you know what you're doing and why you're doing it. Mind always looking to distract, but we stay and we breathe. And we move accordingly with critical thinking. Allowing time to pass. Keep coming back in. Stay with your inhales and exhales. A sense of tenderness there. Let's climb our way out. Slow movements, connecting the palms. Curl your back toes under. Inch your knee forward. Press back, downward facing dog. Walk it out. Lower down to your knees. Cross your ankles, roll through to a seated position, taking your legs out in front. We're going to find caterpillar or a forward fold. So if you are more on the flexible side, you may slide something under your knees to keep a little bit of bend. If you're more on the tight side, you may also do the same thing. We just want to look for more of a even opening all through the back line. You can also support yourself with some props on your legs, maybe placing a bolster or a couple of blankets for you to meet and fold into. So getting set up for your fold, being mindful and just rolling down, allowing your upper body to round. And these folds really provide us with this sense of going inward. It's also a nice balance to counter all of the front hip opening that we've created so far. Discover the places in your own body where it will feel good to send the breath. And just allowing time to pass here. Stay heavy through your hips. Rolling up through your spine, eventually lifting your chin. Just take a moment to move your prop over to the side if you have one. And we're actually going to come down for a variation of supported fish. So blocker bolsters. or a combo of both. And we're going to come to lay down. So if you are using the block, just placing it somewhere along your spine, and you can lower down. If you're using the bolster like myself, you can line it up with your spine or run it horizontally as well. Let's make our way down. Just take a few adjustments in your body, really getting settled. Finding even just 5% more comfort than what you have right now. Feel your shoulders sink back. Fall back into the rhythm of your breath. And breath goes in and breath goes out. Opportunity again to invite a little bit of retention at the top of the breath and the bottom. And stay and observe. Discovering the subtle nuances within. invite a flicker of movement through your fingers and toes. Eventually, the knees bend and feet connect. Coming over to one side, take your props out. Laying on your back with your knees bent and feet connected. We'll take a twist. Slide your hips to the right. Cross the right leg over top. Move your arms out to your sides. Lower your legs to the left. You can support your legs with a prop here if you like, maybe sliding a block or a bolster in for support. Again, looking for sustainability within a longer hold. Shoulders moving down, arms creating that same action. Again, we come back to the subtleties of the posture. Continuing to notice and discover, breathe. Again, taking conscious movements as we exit, finding our way back to Ardha Shavasana, laying on our back, knees bent, feet connected. Pause. Slide your hips to the left. Left leg crosses over top. Legs lower to the right side, maybe utilizing a prop for support. Landing in the posture, observing, breathing, and adjusting accordingly. See if you can find that tenderness in your breath here. Soft through your face. So start to unwind. Place your feet to the mat and center your hips. Pause, breathe. And we're going to close our practice with a supported bridge. Take a hold of your block. If you don't have a block, that's okay. A bolster will do as well. If you do have a block, we're going to take the block maybe a little bit higher than what you normally would, because we're going to stay with the knees bent and the feet connected tonight. So if you usually use the lowest level, see what it feels like on the second. And for those of you that are interested, you could even go from the second level and try out the third. So take a moment to figure that out. We can adjust the shoulders so the neck feels long as we bring them down. And send your breath down into the lower part of your abdomen. Untangling any tension that may be residing there. Moving into our last few breaths. Let's ground into our feet, lifting our hips just enough to slide our prop out and lower down. Draw both your legs in, take a hold with your hands. Keep your right leg in. Lower your left leg down to your mat and breathe. Switch out your legs. Left comes in, right lowers. Draw your right leg back in. Pause for a moment. Give yourself a nice squeeze. One by one, laying your limbs down, preparing for rest. Fine-tuning this laying position, seeking, again, that 5% more comfort. Relishing in the residue of your practice. Allow your bones to sink down. The muscles that move your bones to relax. and your outer shell to soften. Let's draw out the breath, creating more length. And those deeper breaths invite subtle movements now to your physical body. In your own way, coming to join me in a seated position. Take your hands together at your chest and rub your palms to create some heat. And trap that heat in, finding stillness. Take one full round of breath for yourself. And come back to your breath as much as you need. I thank you for coming to share a little piece of your journey with me. Namaste.